G'day guys. Now, I'm not fully confident that this will be our last layer, but we're encroaching on the finishing moments within Pennsylvania, the Keystone State. And to kick this live off, I wanted to let you know the name that I'm tossing up on hasn't been approved, but it possibly may be called this. Ryan, hello. I got the hello out first this time. Proud of myself. The name that we've landed on, and it hasn't been confirmed, but the current floating name is not the Keystone State, it's not Pennsylvania, it's not PA, it's, now bear in mind, this is Pennsylvania, and this mountain here is called Sugarloaf Mountain, and the place we're painting by all the residents is known as the Valley, and Jeffrey lives here, and this is a place really close to his heart. He's lived here for most of his life. So, with that in mind, the name I'm currently floating and unconfirmed is the Valley I Call Home. Now, the reason why that's fun is it works on a couple of levels. The Valley I Call Home doesn't just lend itself into the valley, which is what the residents call this place, but it also lends itself into Jeffrey just saying that this place here, this valley, is his home. The only thing that breaks my heart about the title, the only little thing, and it can be in the description, is the fact that the mountain's called Sugarloaf, and I love the name Sugarloaf, but the Valley I Call Home is both a name that the residents call it, both a sentence that can be said by itself. It uses the word home, which is so significant about this place, and it incorporates the valley. The problem is you could just call it the Valley, and although that's a beautiful title, it does come off slightly cryptic. And so I like the Valley I Call Home because it says it's a valley and it frames why this painting exists. So massive fan of that. Anyway, we'll see if it gets teed up. We've got a bit of sunlight before the whole evening starts to turn to sunset and completely close down. There's a bunch of boys and they're playing soccer or football, whichever one you prefer to call it, across the road there. They're gonna have a big gathering. So if a football comes flying past and I run and go grab it and try and kick it back but miss and end up having to pass it to someone, let's just let that happen. A couple of seagulls around, hopefully they don't bother me, but I think it's just a beautiful evening, very relaxing. I'll take you for a full spin because I did go on a bit of a hike to get here and I'm pretty proud of myself, and it's gonna make you laugh how we got here. So here's what's happening, guys. Here's the kit. We're here, this is the painting, the Valley I Call Home. Now the reason why you're getting good reception is just over there on the ground. I brought with me, there's a sparrow on it, but the Starlink, so if it starts fritting out, it's because of the sparrow. We've got a battery feeding the Starlink. We've got a pushchair. Don't worry, the baby's not in it. But to get out to this random location I'm at, I put the battery on the kid's pushchair, and then the boys over there who are about to start playing soccer, keep coming around with me, guys. I'll just get that off, there we go. And then we keep coming around here. Look, it's beautiful, beautiful. It's I think it's an estuary. Beautifully blue. People are doing jumping off the bridge over there well in the distance. Now bringing the whole way around, bear with me, and we've positioned ourselves here. And the reason I've chosen this little spot, full disclosure, is I just love the way the clouds and the wind is blowing it with perspective going out. These weren't too, I mean probably obvious, they weren't too 222 planes. The sky's actually just like that today, so it makes a beautiful, beautiful kind of composition there. Anyway, like I said in the title today, we've got a whole bunch of white, an absolute stack of white, because today, of all days, we want to finish the Valley I Call Home, unconfirmed, with a few little highlighted touches. Now you'll notice my paint here, this is very, very heavy on the pigmentation. Thick bits of pigment. But the white, look at that. The white's chubby. the white's actually fatter. You can see it's going to add this lovely impasto effect. And that's how we're going to be finishing off the valley I call home. Special attention, 3 blues to the sky, and then a bit of the yellow through it to make some greens. Just do a few little touch points within the valley itself, and let's see where we get to. What is the style of art? It's abstract, it's a bit of impressionism. It's not exactly abstract, but in terms of saying a word that people would get on board with, calling it fun, colourful, and a bit abstract is the healthiest way to say it. It's a 50-50 between chaos and wild colour and actually creating the picture. But we're not trying to be abstract, we're trying to create this image as accurately as we can, thus impressionism. But, even though we're trying to create as accurately as we can, we've got bold pigments. And so instead of seeing the infinite colours that are in nature, we actually get 52 powerful pigments and then try and recreate that nature. And thus those thick, blotchy elements start coming into it, and some colours become accentuated, while other colours tend to disappear altogether. And so we do get a really special picture, but it captures something different from what reality or the photo has, or it pulls something out of reality and expands it. Anyway, coming on down here, how many flies have landed on it and buried in the paint? Flies won't touch it, but it's interesting you say that, because I have found that some insects really like the egg tempera when you paint outside, and they'll land on the painting. But it honestly depends on the place. Don't paint in a swamp and you'll be okay. Yeah, this one here though, acrylic paint, flies don't go near it. The one that does though, bees. But be careful, because bees are so nice. If they come up to the painting and get curious and land on it, if the paint's still wet in that sort of 20-minute window, it's not very nice to have on their feet. They use those feet for pollen, not getting acrylic polymers on them. So yeah, if you can shush a bee away before it lands, you're doing that bee a favour. Coming on up here, if you saw me at the Raglan campsite, you may have Mia. You may have. And Osmondo, thanks for the follow. I don't know Ray Gun, but I'm sure she's lovely. All right, we're about to get started. And Javier 7676, what's up, brother? I'm doing fantastic. Also, I've been watching your reels and they're hilarious. Okay, now, guys, that's enough distractions from all of you. We're going to be silent in the chat room for the next 3.5 hours, and I'm going to need that to concentrate. Otherwise, we're going to go home and Shelby's going to have to put up with me crying all night. No, so the medium, great question. Medium is a blend of acrylic, so that's like a plastic kind of paint. It's water-based, but actually it dries via acrylic polymers. It's one of the most indestructible kinds of paint, but we're not using regular acrylic pigment. We're using gouache pigment. The difference? Acrylic pigment very small, gouache pigment very big. More colour in the gouache. Why do you want that? Well, some people err away from gouache only because those thicker chunks of pigment makes the effect on the surface more matte-like. But if you combine those thicker chunks of pigment with the acrylic polymers and then put the right varnish on top, you can get the full pigmentation and a lovely amount of shine. And that's that sort of line that I've walked with this one here. Janice, you only just walked in. Why are you going to sleep? Anyway, I don't control you. I just appreciate you jumping in. Okay. Here we go. Lots of white. So most of the colours on the surface right now have been just raw colour smashed in there. And now, what we get when we... Janice, just literally ignore me. I'm so sorry. You get to work. Do not worry about me one little bit. I'm just being needy. Okay, that's our colour there. This is very different from our other greens because the titanium white has just made it a bit more muted. Now, the muted colour will now allow the other colours on the surface to pop, and Aside from that, to put a bit more interest in the mutedness, I don't know if that's a word. To put a bit more interest in it, I've added that impasto. Now, someone's joined at the start of it and they're like, does he actually paint? The only thing he's painted so far is right there. I got a bunch on my knee, and I honestly don't know when that happened, but that's very disappointing. Okay, let's get started. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. There we go. There's going to be a lot more mixing on the palette too, because I want to get these colours not in the ballpark of, but basically on top of the tones that I'm after. You're totally in. Good. I need you in on this one because this is the final corner of the racetrack. This is the stage where this picture comes together or falls to bits and results in me spending the night crying. No. Guys, we've had a really special journey with this piece. And it's wild and chaotic from up close, but from a distance, from where you sit, when you watch it, there's this continuity. There's this, and hey Steve, thanks for joining in, mate. Appreciate you being here. From the distance point where you sit from, the picture comes together and you do see this flowing landscape with all these abundant colours. But when I'm up close, right beside it, guys, this work is pure chaos, pure chaos. And that's literally the line we've chosen to walk, the line we choose to walk with most of these pieces. We don't keep the colour palette the same. We don't often keep the medium the same, the sizes or the subject matter, but we do tend to try and walk that line. 50% chaos, 50% clarity. And if you can cut it right down the middle, that's when the work becomes its most magical. When you can see something in it, but it's through human expression, through wild paint. If you can get it there, you can just get it there. Right. You can just wait a minute. Cloud bank here. This is the first time you'll really see this cloud bank popping off the surface. Previously, it's just been going deeper and more powerful pigments, but now, with the addition of this white, this impasto white, we can start highlighting points on the clouds to really make them pop out at you. Slowly, it's turning good. You didn't like it before, Mika? How do you feel about it now? And if I stop now, would it be enough? These are the questions. These are the questions. And guys, do you remember, does anyone remember when I was talking about those affirmation cards? The ones with the intrusive thought, the action you can take, and the actual thing you need to hear. I was going to release them for Christmas, but I've held fire because I've looked at a few of them and they just don't feel real and raw enough. And so I've actually gone back to the drawing board with a few of them, and every single one of them that seems just kitsch or just too commonplace and not quite real enough or just airy-fairy, I've scrubbed. I want them all to feel real. So if you end up having this product, and it is a product, you end up owning it, that you'll know that each one is actually raw and from the soul. And so I feel like the longer it takes to actually bring something like this to fruition, the more meaningful it can become. So it's just like a painting. Every time I alter it and change the cards and make it a little bit different, I think, God, I'm so glad that I didn't release it into the world before I did that. So, if you've messaged me with things and we've talked, and then I've told you it's coming, it is still coming. I just want to get it right, guys, before I order 500, 1,000 units of it. I think that's fair, right? And Mark, Lincoln Buyers of Prints and Commissions. Is Mark asking for prints and commissions? That's exciting. There's a few things up at the moment. Commissions though, there's nothing available for December. We're locked and loaded for December. And oh my God, it's been so long since I've seen you, Ruel. Has it been? When was the last time you were on, Ruel? When was the last time you found yourself in the live? I don't think I can do a motorbike, guys. Two reasons. First reason, I'm not cool enough. Second reason, the exact same reason that Mika's saying. I couldn't handle the noise. I just feel like it would vibrate my whole head and eardrum into, it'd be too much for me. I'd say I'm getting old. I'll take it. I probably am. But I like a, guys, I don't mean to get like a political side here, but I do like how quiet an electric vehicle is. Like, don't get me wrong, I love a big diesel engine. Like, I love that. But when you sit in one of those electric cars and it just, something about that's pretty cool. So. Something about that is pretty cool. I'm young and I like peace. Alright, that's good. You're one of my favourite cars. I like the Polestars. They kind of feel like, and again, I don't know anything about the specs of the cars, but they kind of look like a regular car, because they have this grille at the front, but they feel like a Tesla. Not that a Tesla is what you should be aiming for, but like, it has the range, it has a good look to it. This is the Polestar, mate. I like it. It's so quiet. See, I've got a problem when I talk in cars. The volume comes up really, really high. And I just talk louder and louder, trying to get over the vibrations of the car on the road. And actually, when I'm in an electric vehicle, my voice comes right down, and I relax. And I'm like, that must be better for my. That must be better for my anxiety or everything. I must just be a million times better off on stress levels, relaxing in a car that's quiet. But I was hearing from someone talking about diesel engines, saying diesel engines have got so efficient now. I don't know who it was, but so efficient now that they're actually producing less fumes than petrol, the newest ones. Is that true, or did I just get tripped up by a random article? Most likely, could be the case. Right, oi. Did I miss your message? I'm so sorry. I love you can hear the birds. Birds are lovely. These are the Pohutukawas beside the estuary, and so it's highly likely birds are going to actually come on back to roost for the rest of the evening in these trees. And so the one wild card, and this is why I position myself out from the tree by about 1 metre, is if there's a bird nest in there with a lovely little bird family, they may get excited and that might fall down onto the work. And contrary to popular belief, bird droppings have not been found to be archival, and they won't help the painting last longer. So, though you could use them as a medium while you paint, I think the smell would get to you, the period it would last for would be low, but the paint would arguably flow better. But I can't speak from experience here. I'm only pontificate on what may be the case. Valley I call.
That looks really nice.
Hey, thank you so much. You have a great night.
Yes.
There's some lovely people driving past. They think this looks nice. What is he talking about? You know what? I'm so sorry. Not even I can answer that. Because whatever I was talking about before, it's already out of my mind. It's a funny one because I have a working memory, and your working memory usually carries 7 different things inside of it. And as country as this, it carries 7 unique things inside of it before it runs out. As I'm talking, I'm immediately deleting my previous thought. It's kind of like a thought tank where I'm just speaking non-stop. And 6 of the 7 things are going towards the paint. And so I'm concentrating on the previous layer, making sure this colour's hitting the right spot, where the next brush stroke's going to go, if the brush stroke's correct, if the pigment needs to be mixed slightly, what the viscosity is doing on the plate, and how the overall picture's coming together. There's my 6. There's my 6. And the 7th one is going to talk. And so when you play like that, and you ask me, what were you saying 30 seconds ago? It's gone. But I can give you a play-by-play on the picture. So, funny little place to sit. Would you only paint one object for the rest? Oh, if you only paint one object. Human body, cat, human body. There's so much to explore there. Because I can't say just landscapes, can I? Because that's a subject. But if I say human body, that's an object, depending on the definition. Or do I have to select one human body? If I had to select one human body, I'd choose David, who's the character of the sculpture by Michelangelo. And I'd do that body for the rest of my life. Just because there's lots of work with there. And Michelangelo thought it was great. So yeah, that would be where I'd go. I'd definitely fall on the side of the male body. And the reason for that is my style with a level of contrast and colour. It would suit better to be working with the extra muscle tone of someone like David. Whereas sometimes with a female's feet, depending on the female's body, usually those forms are smoother and they lend themselves far better to gradients. And so people who work with charcoals typically find that their way of painting females is very, very beautiful. But with the males, or if the charcoal works, it wants to do gradients. And so male pictures look quite good in paint, where you have to choose, is this colour or is it that colour? A good example is the work we did with Hercules, Sensitive Stone. That one, you really had to choose at any given point, what is the pigment going to be? You can't sit on the fence anywhere, and Hercules, almost certainly, he doesn't want gradients, he wants you to choose, and that's that strength element coming out in it. David and Marble is all white, he is, and so it's quite fun to explore that with colour, right? But remember that even though he's all white in marble, he still has that with a shadow being cast onto him, and he's standing there however he's standing, and you can see a lot of texture, a lot of contours and shadows over his torso. Possibly the most interesting part is head to head. The face is okay, but we've seen a million Roman busts. It's not that level of engagement that you actually see when you see the perfect form. That's how he's like, isn't it? He's standing there like that. So there is this display factor of the whole core of the chest that really makes it pop. But that one there, and that place Venus. Is it Venus? Or it's a painting of Venus? One of the oldest sculptures there in the Louvre. Love that one. I fanboyed out a little bit, and I got a selfie with it. Couldn't help myself. Or when I was a kid, I lived in Italy and saw Michelangelo's creations. Beautiful details and vein. Yeah. He produced a softness and a sensual, softness is the right word, just take it in a figurative sense. It's a stone, and it takes a real artist's hands to be able to do that. The materials, tough as marble, absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. I'm just not a fanboy of Michelangelo. Typically when we're on our lives, we're being a fanboy for Monet and Picasso. Van Gogh, but we do Picasso as well, don't we? But Monet, Van Gogh, Michelangelo deserves it though, and so does who else? Andy Warhol. We don't typically talk about his craft so much, but we do yarn a bit about how he does what he does, like how critics back when pop art was, Andy Warhol was doing pop art and making 8 Elvises and doing the Marilyn Monroe pictures and doing the things of soup cans. He wasn't loved, and he put soup cans in galleries almost to upset the mainstream thoughts around art. Only for it to be now in 2024 for Campbell soup cans to be revered as an incredible form of art, by the same people he sought to have an impact on in the opposite way when he was. Anyway, it's funny. I find it funny. There. What's this? Before the madman hacked the Peter, it was the open. I remember feeling the veins with my hand. Oh, have you touched one? Naughty, naughty. Mark, I think. Oh, have you jumped on the commission form, or are you waiting for a reply from you, Mark? If you've only just done it, I'll get back to you tonight or in the next 2 days. And if you've been waiting on a reply, I'll get back to you very soon. But excited to talk about it. I was talking with a fantastic individual, an upcoming collector. We haven't fully fleshed out an idea, but he's fantastic. He was saying art in all its forms, but he was saying that one of the works that really spoke to him that we did previously was the work on the surfboard. He's like, I just love it. I love how unorthodox, I like a bit of art on an unusual surface. Like, you know, I'm not opposed to that at all. And so I'm not saying we're going for a surfboard, and I'm not saying we'll be doing it on some sort of 3D object. But what's really fun is in the planning stages of discovering what this commission could be, leaving that option open is kind of fun. I told him that. I said it's kind of fun that we're leaving that door open, because who knows where this can end up now. And even if we do land on a 2D surface, it'll be better for the fact that actually we left open the possibility of going literally anywhere. Kind of like when you stay home but you have the opportunity to go out. Makes you happier. Weird. Weird. This is acrylic, right? Mr. Right, this is a mixture. So it's acrylic body, so in terms of the binder itself, it's a acrylic polymers creating a layer, so it'll be flexible, durable and strong going forward. But the actual pigment I'm using here is gouache, which is basically said, it's very similar to the regular acrylic pigment, but it's bigger and fatter, so it's going to be stronger on saturation. And you might be able to see that through the lens of the camera. You might be able to see just with a sheer saturation on the colours on the picture and think, oh yeah, I kind of see what he's rabbiting on about. It's very easy to tell from this close perspective the potency of the colours, but it's whether you can see it from that distance point or not. I can't speak on your behalf if you can or can't, but I hope you can. Because this one here has a lot of colour in it, like I mean a lot. One thing I've got going on tonight as well, I'll tell you about it. Hello Dr. Robbie, welcome on in. And one thing I've got going on at the moment is, before I left, about maybe about 2 hours ago now, I've left Shelby back at the camper van. See, I've come down here to Raglan because I've got a project where I actually want to do a painting in this area of New Zealand. So I brought a 600 mil by 600 mil canvas, but beside the point, I've left Shelby at the camper van with Cooper, and the plan, hey mate, is I've put on a huge roast, but I'm slow cooking it. And so it's been on, we're going on 4 hours. So Shelby's making sure the little flame doesn't go out, and she's staying with it for obvious safety reasons. But the plan is, when I get back, maybe a few more hours, and we'll see how good my slow cooking skills are. Excited to find out. Grey pictures probably for value reference. The grey picture, top there, yes. So I've printed off a few, and I've looked at it a lot on the computer. A lot. At night usually. Just stare at it, zoom in on areas, examine the colours, understand it better on the whole. This is giving me my, where are things in this picture and what shade are they? And then we can really capture the hues as we see fit from memory of what that image is. And the goal here is to capture a little bit of flavour of all the seasons. This picture here, it's really interesting. In the one photo, it seemed to have a little bit of winter, a little bit of summer, a little bit of autumn, and a little bit of spring. And I can't fully explain how it did it, other than to say it was in the colour. And although literally we're not after capturing the 4 seasons, we are after capturing that full spectrum. The philosophy of a little bit of everything, if that makes sense. Look, I do love the blues being in the background building depth, but don't just use them for depth. Actually building the blues at the front as well. Otherwise, blues get that kind of sad, negative connotation. You want them through the entire thing. There's so much happiness in blues. They can have such a phenomenal impact on the overall work that you don't want to miss out on. And then, on top of that, the reds. Careful with the reds. The colour of vigour and warmth. Overuse it, and the work can get extreme, intense, vigorous. Underuse it, and the work can look cold, like it's missing something. It needs warming up, needs that vitality. And so red is this beautiful, beautiful dance. And yellow, one thing I usually do with the painting, and you'll notice it once I tell you, is you're not going to see a whole lot of raw yellow. It's unusual. What will be more the case with the yellows is they'll splice into the rest of the colour wheel to get more of a spectrum of colours. But on its own, I'll typically use just the red and the blues. And when I do use raw yellow, like proper raw yellow, I'll use Naples. Naples yellow is gorgeous. It's kind of like a tanny yellow. See that the wind has caught that and flicked paint up a little bit. Wild. Let's get this picture here, and let's actually lower this down to here. There you go. And then the sky is calling me. So I'm going to put up in here. That's where that's going. A bit more here, a bit more here. We're going to grab a bit more white, guys. Just keep splicing this in. Here we go. Huh. You're always happy when you pass through my lives. Well, it's a pleasure to have you here. And I commonly say, there's a million, infinite places you can be on the internet right now, but you've chosen here, and I really appreciate that. And I'm usually quite clean, but I'm getting paint all over my hands, paint on my legs. This is a bit of a problem. Usually when this sort of stuff happens, you check yourself. Am I painting sloppy is the question, because you don't want to take that out on the painting itself. The painting itself needs a bit more elegance, control, but I don't think we are. I think that's just two isolated, be it quite funny, incidences. There we go. Imagine all the people for the song that's stuck in Sip's head. Always find it's a great sign though when you come into a live, start painting, doing your thing, and you can't help it to sing. That's a really healthy place to be. If you find yourself actually getting tunes caught in your head while you're doing your craft, that is the primo spot, because that means you're approaching it with the right energy. You don't want to sing when you're in a bad mood. Unless you're Zazu in The Lion King. Nobody knows the troubles I've seen. In which case, yes, you sing when you're unhappy. But that's unusual, right? That's we're going to call that the anomaly. There we go. Gorgeous. All the way over the edges. And then absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. It's that cloud pink sneaking through just the way it's supposed to. And at the very top of the painting here, there's this gorgeous amount of white just sneaking and just coming over. Let me just tiptoe up. Just go the whole way over there. I should have actually done, I didn't realise we were going to go to it, but I should have done this earlier in the piece. And I say that because if I did it earlier, these thicker chunks would have had a better chance to dry on the walk home. But now, they're going to be pretty much still wet, and so that's going to be okay. We just have to be more careful that we don't touch the surface at all while we're on our travel home with a little 360 view I gave you guys earlier. Boom, 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 boom. Let me have a look-see here. Kiki by the beach. That's fantastic, Kiki. I'm proud of you. This is an estuary that I'm by, so I'm jealous of your beach, but the lighting here was just better for what I get up to. How different is gouache to work with versus basic acrylics? Let me answer that in just a second after I say hello to the lovely Jim. Jim, hello, I love this piece. No, sorry. Hi, Seb. Hello, I love this piece. Hope you three are doing great. We're all doing fantastic, Jim. Thank you very much. Sending love to you and your partner right on back. And this piece here is actually of Pennsylvania, so it's going to be going to the US once it's finished. But at the moment, a few of those lighter highlights, just little touch points here and there to lift it, those last little bits before we finish it off. That is the plan. And sorry, gouache to acrylic. So if you're working with full gouache, the actual end product gouache, the thing you'll run into with it is gouache doesn't like to be layered. If you think of gouache like, if you want to use gouache like a lot of people use acrylics and do layer after layer expecting it to dry, gouache will reactivate. And that's because in some ways it's quite a pure paint. It uses a little bit of gum arabic, but for the most part, it's actually just pigment in water, big bits of pigment that'll reactivate. And so you work with a single layer and follow a pattern quite similar to the likes of watercolor, things like this. But if you use gouache and mix it in with mediums that cause the layers to seal, well, now you're just getting a higher quality of pigment, more saturation and colour. And from that, you're also causing it to lock in and allow you to layer like you would in paint. So you can have your cake and eat it too, essentially, if you do it right. Do it right. But a lot of people rule out gouache for some pretty good reasons. Although, as time's ticked by, that's all changed. I told you something was coming. It's come. Oh. Thank you, bro. You're all good. Cheers, mate. I threw it. I didn't trust my kicking. I was actually yelling at that guy before I started. Lovely guy. Lovely guy.
Wow!
it's one way I do like to paint. It's probably, in terms of colour, for the pleasure you get with the way colour works, probably up there beside egg tempera, like right beside it. I don't know. This is more pleasure.
Hello.
Hello there. How you doing?
Good.
That's good. You having a good day?
Yeah.
That's good. So painting down here by the estuary.
That's pretty good. That's perfect.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate that.
I love it.
I like that you love it. I'm doing my best. Cheers, guys.
Alright, bye. Have a good day.
You too.
What a good civilian.
He doesn't. Oh, look. With the water, that's an interesting point. With the water, you can use it to make the flow nicer, but at the same time, it does dilute the pigment because you're adding water to it. So, one thing that the likes of people like Van Gogh would do is they would just use the paint straight from the tube, raw, onto the surface of the canvas, to try and get the highest amount of pigmentation there. And there's actually some letters to his brother, Theo, where he said he was talking about certain paint colours deteriorating over time, and he said to his brother, all the more reason to put on the paint as thick with a passo techniques as possible to make sure the colour, there'd be more colour there if it was intending on fading over time. Van Gogh was fascinated with the ideas of trying to make paint last, try and make artwork actually see generations rather than years. And at that point in time, paints were not at the level they are now. They were fascinated with some of the pigments that were coming out. And the yellow pigments that were becoming possible were what made Van Gogh go on his sunflower escapade. He thought that was so gorgeous that he started painting with them. Or some believe that he was actually poisoned by his own paints, tragically, to the point that he could only see the colour yellow. Whatever story you go with, he painted a lot of yellow paintings. And be that as it may, he made some beautiful. He reacted to my remark. He's live. No, I constantly tell you guys this. This is a recording, this is not live. Stop saying I'm reacting to comments, it's pure chance. I just record these, guess names, and fire from the hip. And honestly, full disclosure, I reckon being these are pre-recorded, why are they not high quality? Why is the content not better? Edited, in fact. I'd be real sick of me by now. Seb is joking, lol, it is recorded and uploaded. Yeah. That is a good thing to say, Ryan, because you know what? I probably go a bit deep on the old, and I go a bit deep into a joke sometimes. I probably go too far with it. What I'm saying here is, it's not recorded. And my point for it not being recorded is you'd probably expect better lighting if I had time on hand, but there's a bit of wind around. The lighting is spot on for me. Yeah, gorgeous day for it. But yeah, anyway, sorry guys, me myself probably sidetracked. Okay, gonna get a little bit of this ultramarine blue. That's what we're after. That's what we're after. Devil with that, the white. There we go. Just like that. And also, are there pre-recorded lives, guys? Because I have never come across one, I swear to God. And Nova, Fatherhood's treating me amazingly. For those who don't know, as of about 8.5 months ago, And yeah, fatherhood looks good on me. Shelby's been putting me to sleep today though, so I got a cot ready and gave her a bit of entertainment, and then scurried out to do a bit of painting, which I appreciate you guys being here with me while I do that. And after I'm finished here, I'll go back. I don't think she'll still be awake, so the next time I'll see her smile will be early tomorrow morning. And I can't wait. But for now, I'm going to put paint on this mountain. Ultramarine blue takes on a whole new world, shade, tone, everything. It becomes a whole new flavour when you add just the teeniest bit of titanium white. You're dealing with something entirely different. I love it. I can see why someone like Picasso got so buried in blues that he went through a blue phase. He just couldn't get enough of it. I totally get it. Because blues are the most seductive of all the colour palette. When I say seductive, I mean when you're painting, you use reds, you have flings with yellows, you sometimes think highlights of orange are going to be cool. Pink's fun, don't get me wrong, I love magenta, and purple, yeah, everyone likes a bit of strong royal purple. But with blues when you're painting, it's borderline romantic. The shades, the way they mix, the way they change, absolutely stunning. Not all blues. I could pass on some ceruleans, pass on sky, but tell you what guys, I cannot get enough of ultramarine blue. That deep, luscious blue. That's so rare in a lot of ancient paintings because it used to come from a rock, stone. It still gets mined in South Afghanistan, but in all honesty, now most ultramarine blues are synthetic, which is good because a lot of the mining of it previously was done with ways that weren't so sustainable. So now we're actually more sustainable ultramarine blue. And it was invented by a Frenchman, thus the name. French ultramarine blue. For those who've heard that story before, I'm so sorry. You know I love that colour. You know I love that story behind it. How do you really talk? You got me. I'm sorry. I put on that other voice to try and impress you guys. Miss Honey, I'm doing well. Welcome on in. Okay, so New Zealanders have a slightly different accent from Aussies. Aussies are a bit more nasally, like there's a B in the back of their throat. That's an exaggerated version, but it's kind of how they sound. And the New Zealanders, we kind of sound like a robot. So it's just this drone of monotone. If you do that, that's a New Zealand accent. They do some great jokes on it in Flight of the Concorde. Flight of the Concords. But yeah, essentially the New Zealand accent is a robot, which is more of a rough thing. But I'm telling you what, guys, as we come into an age of AI, big thumbs up. Why? Because we already blend in with the robots, baby. We sound like them. Oh dear. So, when the robot when the AI robot takeover happens, they'll be like, "Oh, leave the New Zealanders. We're pretty sure they're kind of like us. They're kind of robotic. They have sounds like us, looks like us, must be us." Except for that guy Sepgar, get rid of him. He's clearly not a robot. His art would be way better if he was a robot. I don't know. I take it that's oil. No, this is a very, very interesting blend. But I tell you what, I do love the oils. You guys know I fanboy out about the oils sometimes, but sometimes with the oils, depending on how you're doing them, if you're using mixers, turpentines, whatever, if you're using the stuff that makes oils the best they can be, you need a mask to actually protect yourself from the fumes. And so if you're not going to mask up, I prefer not to oil up. I prefer, if you're going to use the oils, mask up. If you're going to use the acrylics, definitely go outside and be careful with how you go about it. And if you're going to use the likes of watercolor and gouache and whatnot, I suggest blends, because restricting yourself to a "you must follow this approach" or the paint won't work right would be a dangerous thing. Where are we? We're in New Zealand. And I just see a notification there. Your team has completed the first stage of Team Quest. I didn't realise we were on a quest, apart from a pursuit of a good time, but I'm glad we've completed the first stage of it. Oh, and then it says something else. Hold on. Team chairs have been unlocked for all team members to send and celebrate. All right. Great world we live in. Glad to hear it. Congratulations on the team cheers, guys. I always love that TikTok does those kind of things. Like, I always get notifications on, there's a dream boat happening. There's a supersonic league quest of joy, aspiration happening. I'm like, I love that people are doing that. I love that someone's excited about that. I'm just gonna go live. Call me vanilla, call me flavorless. I'm just gonna go live. We talked back about a year ago about doing battles. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I feel like the guy on the side of the dance floor who's like, nah, I can't. But like, at the end of the day, I love all these features, but I think sometimes they can get in the way of what we're here to do. We're here to connect, we're here to have fun, we're here to actually bring you guys on the journey of making an art piece. We're here to watch me get mildly frustrated at motorbikes going past because I'm not cool enough to understand why you'd buy one. We're here to watch me fail to control the sound, and also the risk of a canvas falling over at any given stage. All great reasons to be here. You like the pastels? Wait, you like pastels as paint, or the pastel tones in this? Because I love the latter, and I love that you love that. I love that you would love pastels if you do pastels. I don't use pastels personally, but I also love the fact that there's pastels in this, and I love the fact that you would love the pastels in this, if that's indeed the pastels you meant. Pastel tones, alright. Put myself through a lot of linguistics there. Okay. The yellow there. There we go. Just a bit more yellow. Just a little bit more. We're just getting a bit bluey. A TV show, Blue. Just a little touch of this. Imagine all the people for today. The song is stuck in my head. John Lennon. I really like that movie. It's called Yesterday. The one about the dude who gets stuck in a parallel universe. I've talked about this before, but he gets stuck in a parallel universe, and he's the only one who remembers the Beatles. So he starts releasing Beatles songs, he gets famous, it's all on. But then he meets John Lennon, who isn't famous, and he's surprised. He says, you know, what happened? You're not famous. You're like, or you're not this or that. And he says, I'm 70. I've lived the happiest life I could possibly live. I've loved, I've been happy. You know, that's a success. And even without the fame and success, there was still this beautiful journey in John. And I think that's the important thing, because a lot of people weigh the value in a journey on where it ends up, how successful you become. But this movie did a great job in showing John Lennon, or an actor playing John Lennon, obviously, but that actually it's got nothing to do with that. Live, love, be happy, do what makes you happy. And it doesn't matter if other people congratulate or if they're enjoying it. Do what feels right for you. Only then are you going to be anything to be truly happy. Why would you put your own happiness in the hands of other people who, at the end of the day, may not even care? I always see that quote, that thing that says, no one cares when you leave this world, so why would you live your life trying to please those people? That's a negative way of putting it. I don't believe that. I believe everyone cares, but there's just so much going on that we miss certain things. And so the one thing you can't miss is your own happiness. If you skip out on that, that's the one ball I need you to catch. Like, there's a lot of balls in the air. Don't miss that one. Catch that one. There's a lot going on. That's not the one to be missed. And if we all actually intrinsically got happy in our own skins, happy with who we are, happy with where we're going, happy with our lives, and all the different shapes and forms, then we could spend more time, I don't know, connecting with others, having a good time, not stressing out, getting the amount of years I've spent in my life getting so anxious over trying to be a person I thought other people wanted me to be. I'm going to be a lesser version of myself for those who actually care. Don't be that guy. Don't be that version of me. You can do so much better than that. And it doesn't matter what age you are. What matters is you actually get to that point of release where you actually go, I don't need all these shields, all this baggage, all this anxiety, all this pent up energy. It can just be me. I can be a healthy, happy version of me. By doing so, I can be the best things to other people around me. A healthy place to be. Healthy place to be. I don't mean to be the anti-Bob Ross here. Do you want to be better than a happy little mistake? Less mistakes. Like, I get it. Don't beat yourself up if you make a mistake. Don't ever do that. It's not worth it. Accept it, move on. But at the same time, if we are working from a position of what the best possible outcome is, let's have less mistakes overall. Let's accept the mistakes. They are happy and little. but let's get an overall happier, better result from actually meaningful, purposeful strokes. And the hardest thing is, how do you create chaos while also being meaningful and purposeful? And that's that dance you do. And honestly, it's a hard road. I love the feeling when you up here close on a picture, gambling on small strokes, unarmed with the legs, and then you stand back and just think about whereas up close, it's messy, it's volatile, ugly, and then from a distance, you can see Pennsylvania. That's the point. That's the goal here. That's why we're here. The world looks green and blue. Relationship James card really now TikTok City Hour. There's a lack of, I think that sentence needs more syntax. I can't quite tell. This plate here is a mess. This is not the worst part. It's dark here. Where's here? 4 p.m. So you're a few hours behind me. I'm not sure where Now it's getting to that sort of steely blue, bit of grey, fun colour. I would love to see it done start to finish so we can see the whole process. It's interesting you say that. You can get every single one of the lives on Facebook, you can get them on YouTube, so you can catch every single second of what's being made. If you want to catch that, you're more than welcome to. Otherwise, at this current point, when we're hammering on these last little touch points, you're welcome to hang out as well. It's really up to you. I used to do some time lapses, but honestly guys, I found that a lot of people were saying to me, hey, can you not? Because they flicker a lot. And so it made it hard for some people who have some conditions that make it quite difficult to watch a camera flickering quite aggressively. So we've really toned back on those. You may remember about 2 or 3 years ago we had a lot of flickering things, but now it's more relaxed. And I think let's pause there. Let's pause there. Take this one down. Again, we'll review it a couple of times, but for right now, I think it's a fun place to be. Love the reds. This corner here is a bit more wild, this is a bit more dotty. I like that. I like it. It's a fun asymmetry happening there. I like the cloud bank. I feel like that came in well. Sky, turbulent, but blue, different from the environment down here. But some of the colours in here are up in the sky. Kind of like how water reflects, but in reverse. I love that. This lovely touch on top of the Sugarloaf Mountain. Love that. Love it, love it, love it. But I need to sit with it. Sorry guys, actually that's so rude of me. Let me spin this around. Okay, let me put that there. Okay, this is what we're working with. This is where we're at. This is looking like Sugarloaf at the moment. Let me pop this around here. So the picture we're working with. I'll show the black and white image here. We'll bring it up to here. This is Sugarloaf, a place the residents call the Valley. Okay, so it's a very special place in Pennsylvania. That's what it looks like there. There's our image. Massive amounts of trees, no continuity, no similarity between them. They all have their own very, very unique personalities in terms of spacing, lighting, shadows, all those things. We pull it down, and then there's our rendition of it. You can see the one thing I've done too is this image, I've cut a little bit off it. I did a little bit from both sides because I wanted to see, like, just to fit on the canvas. In that cutting process, I centered Sugarloaf bang on the middle, and that's the smallest nod to Keystone. Okay, Keystones, center. Why Keystone? Pennsylvania, Keystone State. So very, very subtle. That's almost unnoticeable. The composition centers around a keystone, which is Sugarloaf, which is in Pennsylvania, which is the Keystone State. And this picture here, we haven't got final confirmation on it, but I think it's going to be called the Valley I Call Home. I really hope it is, guys. Hey, thanks to everyone in here at the moment. We had a good crew. Ryan, you were here first. I know you were here first. And then we had Steve. Did we have Jay Smith? Surely we had Jay Smith. I know I saw a Jay Smith in here. A bunch of lovely people. Miss Honey, everyone. Thank you very much for being here, guys. And I'm very, very sorry for clapping that close to the speaker. Wishing you all the best from the Tauranga studio. Today, the Raglan studio. And Miss Ryan's like, everyone's gone. I'm here by myself. What happened, guys? Right, guys, I'm gonna go check on my little baby girl, and I think at this hour she's gonna be asleep, and then I have that slow cooked meat that I want to go check on as well. So I've got some exciting things to go and do. But thanks for spending this time with me. And those little highlights, we made some good ground. Ethan, it's cold here. It's very cold. In fact, it's just starting to get cold. I'm just complaining. And plus, guys, if you're in America, when I say cold or hot, literally just ignore me. You guys have the cold and the hot. I've seen Utah in winter, and I've seen Texas in summer, okay? Your temperatures are so wild that any Kiwi who says hot or cold, all we mean is slight deviations on mild. So please, if I say that, just ignore me. I learned what real weather was when I went to America. Apart from that, guys, look after yourselves, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys. Kiwi here in the USA right now. All right. I'm a little bit jealous, but anyway, guys, catch you later.